Okay, I want you to close your eyes and picture something for a second. You are strapped into a seat on a massive colony ship. You're millions of miles away from Earth, hurtling through the absolute void, heading for Mars.
Right.
You've checked the manifest, the oxygen scrubbers are working, the hydroponic farms are packed, the rockets are fueled, all the hardware is, absolutely perfect.
Check, check, check.
But then you look at your screen and you realize you forgot to make a playlist.
The ultimate nightmare. You're stuck in a tin can for 9 months with what? Just silence.
Right. But I'm serious, what are you listening to? And I don't mean just to pass the time or, drown out the hum of the engine. I mean, what music do you bring to help you actually survive the psychological crushing weight of living on a red rock?
And that is the central question, isn't it? That's the heart of the project we're deep diving into today.
It really
And the
is.
title of this project is just fantastic. It's called Music to Colonize a Planet By.
Which, to be fair, sounds like a Spotify playlist for a sci-fi road trip.
It does, doesn't it? It sounds so catchy. But when you actually dig into the source material, which includes these incredibly detailed records from the composer, David Peterson, talking to an analytical model,
Yeah.
you realize this isn't just background noise. It's a philosophical engine.
That's what struck me immediately. We usually obsess over the hardware of space travel, the rockets, the domes, the radiation shielding.
Mm-hmm.
But this project argues that the hardware, it's not enough. You need software.
And by software, Peterson isn't talking about the code for the navigation computer. He's talking about us, the human software.
Culture, ethics.
The mental frameworks that keep a group of stressed-out primates from tearing each other apart in a pressurized dome.
Or from just destroying the new planet the second they land.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack two specific musical suites from this project. We've got the Terran Biospheres and the Five Secular Reverances.
And we're going to see how this music acts as a sort of a field manual for terraforming.
Yes, but not terraforming in the let's nuke the ice caps and build a strip mall kind of sense.
No, definitely not that.
No. This is about moving from conquest to coexistence. It's a complete reframing of what it means to be an explorer. It's asking, do we shape the planet to fit us, or do we shape ourselves to fit the planet?
So let's jump into the first major work, the Terran Biospheres. The source material calls this the ecological arc.
Right. And just to ground us in the sound, because the sound choices are so deliberate, this is a chamber work. It's intimate, string quartet and piano.
So no massive orchestras, no synths blasting, no booming timpani.
None of that. And the composer uses this phrase to describe the vibes that I just love. He says the music functions as a field guide written by a gentle alien.
That image does so much work, doesn't it? A gentle alien.
It really stops you in your tracks. It suggests a perspective that is curious but completely non-threatening.
Right. It's not about owning the land. It's about observing it.
It's modeling how humans should behave toward a complex system they didn't create. It's removing the human ego from the equation.
Okay, so let's walk through the simulation because that's really what this is. The suite is divided into 4 biospheres. Biosphere Cyst is our first contact.
And think about how movies usually handle first contact.
Yeah.
It's dramatic, it's loud, there's a flag being planted, speeches are made.
The brass section is usually blaring.
Here, the tempo is set at exactly 80 beats per minute.
80. So
Yeah.
that's, what, roughly a resting human heart rate?
Exactly. It's measured, it's slow, and the string writing is described as transparent.
Meaning you can hear every individual line. There's nowhere to hide.
Precisely. It's clear, it's open, and the piano has this fascinating role here. The sources say the piano acts like a naturalist jotting marginal notes.
Wow. So the piano isn't even playing the melody.
No, it's annotating, it's reacting. The strings provide the landscape, and the piano is the observer making these tiny, careful marks.
And the ecosystem they picked for this, it's not a mountain peak or some Grand Canyon. It's a temperate wetland, a marsh.
Which is such a specific, unglamorous choice for a sci-fi epic, right?
Yeah, why a marsh?
Well, think about what a marsh demands of you. You can't run through a marsh. You'll get stuck. You have to be quiet. You have to watch where you step.
Listening, watching, and waiting.
So the first step of colonizing isn't building. It's just being. The sources point out that this absence of drama is a radical stance. It's content just to exist.
Establishing a posture of humility right from the start.
You're there to witness the planet, not strictly to use it yet.
Okay, so we've observed. We've got our boots wet in the marsh. Now we move to Biosphere the second. Inhabitation.
The sound shifts here. The texture gets thicker. The rhythms start to gain a little more confidence.
And the strings. They start to interlock.
They do. They're weaving in and out of each other instead of just playing long chords. It represents structure, mutual reliance.
And the ecosystem matches that. It's a mixed deciduous forest.
A classic forest. But think about the biology of it. The layers, the canopy, the understory, the forest floor.
Mm.
It has a metabolism.
A metabolism. Okay, so it's consuming energy, it's growing, it's working.
And the music reflects that system finding its rhythm. The source material calls this an earned optimism.
Earned is the key word there, isn't it?
It is. It's not blind hope. It acknowledges that balance is hard work. This forest doesn't just happen. The system is actively working to maintain equilibrium.
So the music isn't just pretty, it's busy. It's the sound of a system that works.
Right. And we've gone from the quiet marsh to the working forest. Then we hit Biosphere the Third.
And this is where the wheels start to come off a little bit.
This is the flirtation with excess.
I feel like every civilization eventually hits this phase, the too much of a good thing phase.
It seems almost inevitable. Musically, this section is described as animated, unruly. There's a rhythmic insistence. It's flirting with chaos.
And the ecosystem match is a tropical rainforest. Hyper-abundant, noisy.
Teeming with life. The source says if Biosphere listens, this one thrives. But, and this is the catch, it introduces competition. It's on the verge of overwhelming itself.
It's loud, it's aggressive.
It's the peak of the crash. And normally, in a standard narrative, you'd think, okay, the music is getting bigger, faster, more complex. We're building up to the massive finale.
We conquer the planet, we build the megacity, credits roll.
And here is where the Terran Biospheres completely subverts your expectations. Because that crescendo, it never happens.
Right. Let's look at Biosphere the Fourth, the corrective.
Instead of an explosion of sound, the texture thins out completely. The source describes a cooling of emotional temperature.
A cooling? That sounds almost stark.
It is. The music retreats. The ecosystem here isn't a city, it's a tundra, or an alpine environment above the tree line.
That is such a curveball. You go from the rainforest to the
It's
tundra.
the aha moment of the whole piece. It's about restraint. The music accepts limitation. It realizes that you can't live in that excess phase forever without burning out the planet.
The sources describe this section as beauty revealed over long time scales.
Which is the opposite of the quick fix or the quarterly report. It's a musical argument that says, if you want to survive here, you don't conquer the peak to plant a flag. You learn to exist quietly in the cold.
That is heavy. But it makes so much sense for a long-term colony. If you try to live at maximum rainforest intensity on Mars, you're going to run out of resources in a week.
Precisely. It prioritizes restraint over spectacle and interdependence over heroism.
So that's the ecological side, how we treat the planet. But the project argues that's only half the battle. We also have to deal with the people.
Right. If Biospheres is about the planet, the second suite, the Five Secular Reverances, is about the social software.
Social software, I like that term. It sounds better than just manners.
It's much deeper than manners. The sources describe a fictional context for this music, a Church of Mars or a Cathedral of Olympus Mons.
Okay, I have to stop you. The Church of Mars.
I know.
That sounds incredibly culty, like past the Kool-Aid culty.
It does sound a bit ominous at first, but the source material is very clear on this. These aren't religious institutions in a mystical or supernatural sense.
So they're not worshiping a deity, they're worshiping, what? Sanity.
Basically, they are institutions that canonize secular virtues. They're designed to clear the air. Think about it. You're in a dome. You're stuck with the same 100 people for the rest of your life.
You can't just walk away.
You need a way to process emotion. You need rituals.
An air scrubber, but for grievances.
Exactly. A mechanism to vent the psychological buildup.
So let's look at the movements here. Because unlike the quartet we just heard, the instrumentation changes drastically for each one.
And that shifting is crucial. It shows that different emotional states require different tools. You don't use a hammer to fix a window.
Okay, so the first movement is serendipity.
And look at the instruments. A string orchestra, but a weird one. Just 2 violins, 8 violas, and 8 cellos.
That's a lot of bottom end. That's very dark, very grounded.
It is. Mid to low register. And serendipity here isn't just, oh, what a happy accident. It's acknowledging the massive role of chance in survival.
Which is terrifying for an engineer. Engineers want to control everything.
But on Mars, a meteorite hits or it doesn't. A seal fails or it doesn't. This music is about admitting we can't control everything. It's a collective humility. It's saying we are small and we are lucky to be here.
Then we move to number 2, promise.
This is all woodwinds. 7 bass clarinets, 6 oboes, 8 bassoons.
Again, very low earthy sounds. And that's a lot of bassoon.
Dark, reedy textures. Promise represents the forward-looking commitment, the hope that sustains people through hardship.
But with those instruments, it doesn't sound like a Disney hope, does it?
No, it's not a cheerful, chirpy bird-singing hope. It's a gritty bass clarinet kind of hope, the kind you have when a dust storm has been raging for 3 weeks.
It's durable, structural.
I love that. Then comes number 3, reflection, and this is the big shift.
This is the human voice, 4 choir sections and 6 soloists.
The first time we hear actual humans in the entire project.
And notice where it's used. It's reserved for introspection, memory, looking back at Earth.
Why wait until now to use the voice?
I think because nostalgia is dangerous. In a colony, looking back too much can destroy morale.
You need a designated space to grieve what you left behind. You can't do it all day or you'll never work. The music provides a container for that grief.
It allows you to feel it so you can put it away.
Exactly. Then we have number 4, appreciation.
Keyboards, piano, synthesizer, organ.
The organ is an interesting choice. It feels very old world, very cathedral.
It carries a lot of baggage, doesn't it?
It does, but the source says it repurposes those earthbound religious associations for a new context. It's about technology and order. The organ is one of the most complex machines humans ever built before the computer.
It's a machine that makes music.
Right. It's gratitude for the endeavor itself. Gratitude that the machine is working, that the air is breathable, that the pump is cycling water.
A celebration of human ingenuity keeping the dark at bay.
And finally, number 5, community.
This is where the energy shifts. The tempo jumps up to 100 beats per minute. It's the only break from that slow, patient pace we've seen in everything else.
And the instruments strip back down.
Yes. Soloistic, flute, piano, violin. It celebrates connection and interdependence. The idea is that you can move with ease, you can be faster, lighter, because the foundation has been laid.
Because you've grieved and you've accepted luck and you've built the machines.
Now you can actually just live together.
Exactly. You've earned the right to be light.
So we have these 2 massive works, the Terran Biospheres and the Five Secular Reverances. How do they actually fit together? Are they just 2 different albums on the playlist?
No, they interlock. Think of it this way. The reverences are inward-facing.
Yeah.
They ask, how do we behave toward each other?
While the biospheres are outward-facing, how do we behave toward the planet?
Right. The sources use a great metaphor here. They call the reverences breath practices.
Regulating your inner life, keeping your heart rate down.
And they call the biospheres listening practices.
Perceiving the complexity outside of you.
And the argument is that you need both. If you only look inward, you ignore the reality of Mars and you freeze to death. If you only look outward, you tear each other apart in the hab.
Breath and listening. That's a beautiful way to put it.
There's another term the sources use to describe the ethics of both works. Non-teleological.
Okay, that's a big word. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. Teleology is all about an end goal, a purpose, winning. A teleological view of colonization would be, we are here to terraform Mars into Earth 2.0, build a mall, and declare victory.
The mission accomplished banner unfurled on the Valles Marineris.
Exactly. But these works are non-teleological. They aren't about a final triumph. They view time as something to be inhabited, not conquered.
Which explains why most of the music sits at that patient 80 beats per minute.
It's saying there is no finish line. There is only the ongoing practice of doing things carefully. It's a permanent state of maintenance and care. You don't win Mars, you just survive it day by day.
It's a shift from a goal-oriented mindset to a process-oriented one. Which brings us to the emotional tone of all this. The source describes it as kindness without sentimentality.
Martian in the best sense.
Yeah, Martian in the best sense. What does that mean to you? Because usually Martian implies cold, distant, maybe a little green.
I think it means it's humane, but it's unsentimental. On Mars, sentimentality could get you killed. You can't just wish for things to be nice. True kindness in that environment is teaching settlers how to leave room for what is not them.
A rugged, pragmatic kindness. It reminds me of the ending of Biospheres again, that retreat to the tundra. The kindness is in not forcing the environment to be a tropical rainforest if it doesn't want to be.
Exactly. And this leads us to perhaps the most provocative idea in the whole project. The sources suggest this entire body of work might actually be a manual for anti-terraforming.
Anti-terraforming? Wait, isn't the whole point of going there to terraform it to make it like Earth?
That's the classic assumption, right?
Yeah.
We go there, we pump out CO2, we melt the ice, we force the planet to wear Earth's clothes.
That's terraforming. changing the hardware to fit our software.
And this project is suggesting the opposite. It suggests we change our software so we can live in the hardware of the planet.
So instead of breaking the planet to fit us, we adapt our culture, our expectations, our rituals to fit the planet.
That is a complete flip of the script. We usually think of space exploration as the ultimate expression of human dominance. We go there, we plant the flag, we make it ours.
This music is saying, maybe we go there and we get quiet.
We go there, we listen, and we change.
It's a worldview that values restraint over spectacle and patience over progress, which honestly sounds pretty good right about now.
It does. It feels like a maturity of the species. It's growing up. It's realizing that everywhere we go, we don't have to turn it into a suburb of Earth.
So what does this all mean for us sitting here on Earth? We aren't on a rocket to Mars. We aren't scrubbing CO2 out of our living rooms. Well, mostly not. Why should we care about Mars music?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, if these musical habits, listening, patience, acknowledging serendipity, are the absolute requirements to survive on a hostile planet like Mars,
Yeah.
then what does it say about how we are currently living here? We treat Earth like we have infinite resources, infinite room for drama, infinite time for conquest. We are living the excess phase of the rainforest, assuming it will last forever.
And we're ignoring the tundra.
Or ignoring the corrective.
Mm.
This music suggests that the mindset we need for the future, whether on Mars or right here, isn't more, faster, bigger. It's slower, quieter, more careful.
Perhaps we need to inhabit our own time a little more carefully right here. We need that anti-terraforming mindset for our own lives, adapting ourselves to reality instead of trying to force reality to fit our ego.
I think that's the message. You don't need to go to Mars to start practicing Martian kindness. You can start that at 80 beats per minute right now.
I love that. Well, that's all we have for this deep dive into music to colonize the planet by. A huge thank you to the analytical models and the composer for leaving such a fascinating paper trail.
It was a pleasure to unpack it.
Go find some time to sit at 80 beats per minute today. We'll see you next time.